So for today's Drash, for this week, we have Barbara to share with us. Thank you.
If this seems kind of piecey and choppy all over, I had a hard time kind of putting this together this week, and I finally had to say, here, Andy, I have this paragraph. I don't know where to put it, and help me. So, if I seem a little lost sometimes, just hang in there, okay? We'll get to the end, I promise. So this week's portion is called Va'era, and I appeared. In this parsha, Adonai reveals himself to Moses, basically saying, take out the children of Israel from Egypt, deliver them from their enslavement, redeem them, and acquire them as his chosen people. He will bring them to the land he promised Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov as their eternal heritage. Moses and Aaron repeatedly come before Pharaoh to demand in the name of Adonai, let my people go so that they may serve me in the wilderness. Pharaoh repeatedly refused. Aaron's staff turned into a snake and swallowed the magic staffs of the Egyptian sorcerers. Adonai then sends a series of plagues upon the Egyptians. As we know, the waters of the Nile turned to blood. Swarms of frogs ran over the land. Lice infested all men and beasts. Hordes of wild animals invaded the cities. A pestilence killed the domestic animals. Painful boils afflicted the Egyptians. And for the seventh plague, fire and ice combined and descended upon the skies as a devastating hail. Still, the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he would not let the children of Israel go. The rest of the plagues are in next week's parsha, so y'all need to stay tuned for that, okay? One thing I learned in this parsha, and it was really interesting because I had read this like at the beginning of the week, and then Jackie sent a message, I think I don't know if you were in that, Esther, but saying, I never realized that these plagues lasted over a year. I myself thought they were very short, like boom, 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 they came, but actually they lasted over a year's time. So this made me realize, how hard-hearted and stiff-necked Pharaoh really was. He was kept pushing Adonai, and then each time Adonai made those plagues a little bit worse. This led me to start thinking about, was there more to the plagues? We know for a fact that the plagues were to force the Egyptians, especially Pharaoh, to let the Jews go free. It can also be seen as a punishment for their cruelty towards the Jewish slaves. We look at the Torah text, we see that this is just not a matter of show force nor of causing pain, but the goal was a little bit more subtle. In Exodus 7, 3-5, it says, but I will make him hard-hearted. Even though I will increase my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, Pharaoh will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hand on Egypt and bring my armies, my people, the sons of Israel, out of the land of Egypt with great acts of judgment. Then when I stretch out my hand over Egypt and bring the people Israel out from them, the Egyptians will know that I am Adonai. That last line, the Egyptians will know that I am Adonai. Without a doubt, they will have seen the power he has and that he always has and still has. So Adonai clearly answers Pharaoh when Pharaoh is like, I don't know who this Adonai is. He clearly answers it in Exodus 5:2. He says, who is Adonai that I should obey that he says to let Israel go? I don't know Adonai, and I also won't let Israel go. I bet you he knew who he was after the plagues. So think about that for a minute. Pharaoh denouncing knowing who Adonai was, and the destruction came upon his people and his land. Adonai delivered his people from exile. Yeshua delivered us from exile. In our day-to-day lives, do we denounce Yeshua? Do we walk in his footsteps? Do we do his mitzvah and show love and compassion to others? When he sees you, when you meet him, will he be able to say, well done, good and faithful servant? Every day we need to take an inventory of where we are at and put ourselves into check and to strive to be back on the path of walking beside our Heavenly Father. There was one other purpose to the plague, I think, as well. It is found in the beginning of next week's parsha, Exodus 10:2, so that you will tell your son and grandson about what I did to Egypt and about my signs that I have demonstrated among them, so that you will know that I am Adonai. They were done also so the Jewish people could tell their children and grandchildren of the great powerful things that Adonai did to deliver them from exile. So perhaps the purpose of the plagues was to change our perception in life, perhaps, so that throughout the generations we recognize Adonai and his teachings. For Pharaoh, the plagues meant he eventually obeyed and let the Jewish people free. Maybe for us this means that we need to recognize Adonai's power over our lives, and therefore make the right choices, which include goodness and healing over our family and communities. Shabbat Shalom.